episode of Oregon Life.
Thanks for
right?
watching this
episode of Oregon Life.
Hello, I'm Frank Caruso, producer of Oregon Life, and welcome to a brand new episode. Excited about this one, as I am about so many episodes of this, because I meet so many different people. Through 14 South artists, Karen Callahan, she introduces me to the giant hosta farm, and then she introduces me to her husband, Larry Callahan. So you look at this, and you have a board of wood. Well, where do you see what Larry Callahan does to a board of wood in this episode of Oregon Life? So stay tuned.
I'm Larry Callahan. I make custom furniture. I've made it for myself, and I have several hundred pieces loose in the wild. And I love working with wood. I've been working with it probably all my adult life, even before then. There were several things that came together all at the same time that turned me from a rank amateur into a quasi-professional. Is that Karen started working as a photographer for a book producer that did woodworking books in our little town, and they were in desperate need of an overflow carpenter. So I started doing some of their work, and then at the same time, one of my best friends bought a house with a 6-car garage and donated half of that space to a continuing wood shop for me, him, and one of our other friends that existed for some 30 years. When I first started making stuff for the stores, I was working in the craftsman style, like mission furniture, and that sold very well. But Alan, who's my outlet right now, wants something more modern. So I'm looking at trying to make pieces that have a lighter and more contemporary shape. I just made a pair of tables, delivered them about 2 weeks ago to some people in Illinois. They had wanted something to match their mid-century modern couch, which is, I'm going to call it Danish American, but that's not quite right. It's open furniture with rounded edges. And they wanted a 2-tone pair of tables to go around it. I have several pieces of furniture sitting in Woodland Studios in Stoughton. Alan Sheets will be happy to show them to you.
Hi, I'm Alan Sheets, owner of Woodland Studios in Stoughton, Wisconsin, 195 East Main Street, and welcome to my gallery. This is fine art part of the gallery. We have multiple art, especially the old original artists from Wisconsin, as is John Stewart Curry. This is original signed lithograph of Curry and the original war bond from 1942 next to it. The gallery in the back is full of art from many Wisconsin artists and famous artists from around the country, including many who taught at the University of Wisconsin. Throughout the gallery, you're going to see we do faceted of many types of products and processes. This is a framing area. We do full custom framing for artists that bring their art in and general customers throughout. In the front gallery, which is this part of the gallery, we have a wide variety of art and artists, local and regional artists, many from Wisconsin, a good portion, and those are from Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Minnesota primarily. And again, the focus is on the varieties of art and the types of art. We also carry a variety of jewelry, and we get into so many different types of things that it's really set up for people to find that special kind of piece of art for a customer or a client as a gift or for whatever they want for their collection. You'll see types of pottery, you'll see carved gourd, you'll see types of paintings, embroideries. This is a carved gourd by a local Stoughton artist named Gary Callahan. Gary is a wonderful artist here in Stoughton. He's been carving for many, many, many years and comes from a great heritage of art. You'll see a variety of paintings. You'll also see a variety of furniture. A lot of the furniture that we have in here is done by Larry Callahan, who is another local Wisconsin artist that has done very well being in the gallery. His work is fabulous, and the detail that he puts into it is just absolutely wonderful. As you look at his furniture, you'll see the high craftsmanship, the styles that he uses with the varieties of woods, cherry and curly maple, and the finishes that he puts on it. It's just extremely wonderful. And his price points, when you look at his pricing, it's unbelievable. I have no idea how he can even do it for what he sells it for, but it's a love of his life, and he's a wonderful artist in our gallery. Thank you.
One of my first commissions was she was my next door neighbor much of my life, and ultimately married my cousin, so she was my cousin-in-law. She had twins and asked me to make a pair of captain's beds, which were single beds with pull-outs underneath them. I had done, that was some 47 years ago, and they're still in use. We're going to do some jointery here on these pieces that ultimately will become legs. I'm cutting a pocket for plate jointery, or a biscuit. It's a small slot that will accept a plate on both sides that line up and help things going. I'm going to turn on some power tools now. And these will fit together with a corresponding other piece. And these will be put together, something like that. All the stuff that I build is basically just jointed and glued, never using metal fasteners. Glue, a correct glue joint will be stronger than the wood around it. This armoire I made some time ago. It's one of my favorite pieces. The light panels are maple with some figuring in them. The dark wood is mahogany. The house that I lived in for many, many years was very old. It had no closets, so we had to build all the storage space we could. The dining room table was a project that we had started to replace one that we had before. It was too large. It was also during the first 6 months of COVID, and there was nothing else to do except stay at home and make chairs and tables. This was my first attempt at making a set of chairs. I'd made several individuals through the years, and it started, the material is red oak, and there are about 27 pieces for each chair, times 8 chairs, plus a few extras. It took me about 4 months from its inception to its completion. The seats, I figured out a way to dish them with a spline and a butt imprint, if you will. That was all done with a table saw and moving things around on the top. We changed the handrail. When we came here, it was a colonial with white painted balusters and a red oak handrail. We were looking for something a little more craftsmanlike. I found these wrought iron pieces that were available commercially, and then we tore out the other one and then made this all out of hickory to match the hardwood floor that we had laid not long before this. It adds just the bit of zest to the house that we were looking for. We have something here. It's a fiddle made by my uncle some years ago. After they retired, they were asked to repair one for someone and got interested and then began to make them. They turned out quite a few during their lifetime. As my Uncle Lewis Gay from McKee, Kentucky, which is of a town about 500. They were all very nice people. So. This is one of my favorite pieces. This was built specifically for this room after we moved in. The primary wood is cherry. The black wood is actually maple that I have dyed and stained very, very, very black. So it sort of seeps into the wood. We need, we have more stuff than we should, so we need a lot of storage. These top pieces actually are just free. They can be moved anywhere on the top you wanted, and if one wanted, they could be mounted to the wall. But let's see. This was, well, that's ugly, but there you go. It's a very nice piece. This was a sleigh bed that I built. It was an exercise in bending wood. This back piece is cherry, and they were machined down till they were about 3/8 of an inch thick and 6 inches wide. I put them in a steamer and then put them in a mold to give them a slight bend to give this curve here. Then edge glued them all together. There's about 12 of them across there, and fitted that. Once I had that curve, I had drawn a full-size drawing on poster board of the side pieces, that the way I wanted them to show. And then while they were still square, had stuff on them, I machined all the square edges that needed to be done, and then built router jigs to relieve the spaces for the curved back and the top piece to fit into. There's also several pieces along the bottom. The back comes apart. It breaks down like a standard bed with the headboard, 2 side rails, and a footboard. Thanks for watching this episode of Oregon Life.
Watching this episode of Oregon Life.
Thanks for
Right?
watching this
Episode of Oregon Life.